Alright, so I'm doing a challenge trying to platinum every single game inside of the Ubisoft Plus game catalog on PlayStation. And if I can't do it before we hit 690,000 subscribers on YouTube, then I have to tattoo the platinum logo somewhere on my body. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Easy, Pronouncing Ezio as Ezio was painful. How does that even happen? Like he played the entire game and didn't listen to how it was pronounced? Imagine caring how someone pronounces a name.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, my apologies for butchering Ezio's name in the last Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection video, but I told you all during it that I have no clue how to say it, so I don't know why you're so mad. But anyways, today I decided to return back to the Ezio collection, obviously, because there is still 2 more platinums inside that I have to do for this challenge. Next up being Brotherhood, of course. This game, by the way, is considerably harder and longer than the previous one. That's not a sexual reference. It has 51 total trophies inside, including the platinum, and took away my happiness from me when playing it. Thankfully, no controllers were lost completely, just minor damage. But the game actually opens up with us already in sequence 9 of the story and in the midst of a giant battle. Before it ends dramatically and we then just stare off at the land admiring nature's beauty. And a trophy for technical difficulties pops. But right after that, it then put us back in after the first game's ending and we actually picked up with the exact same loadout and items and everything, which is kind of cool. Too bad right after Ezio got to bang a ginger, we ended up losing them all. I swear to God, women take everything from you in any situation, it's insane. The rest of this first sequence then just had us basically fighting for our lives because the compound we are in and love so much is being raided and completely destroyed by the Templar enemies. Eventually though, we linked up with Sis and Mom and also found a convenient passage to run away in. So it was a happy ending after all. And not just what Ezio had happened minutes before the battle began. Oh yeah, and there's the first sequence trophy. We then got to play in real life now as Desmond and the whole gang of mad scientists. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, by the way, has very limited times you actually do play in real life. I think only 3 times total we got to do it, which is very contrast to Assassin's Creed 2 where you pretty much just went to reality after every sequence. But this first time we actually got to do some legit puzzle solving as Desmond, and it was also in the compound that just got destroyed back in the Animus with Ezio. This is legit nightmare deja vu feel, I'm not gonna lie. But once we got the whole place powered back up and going, the second you step into the Animus again, a trophy pops, and we are back in the action. Ezio wakes up in some lady's room. Not a surprise. But what is a surprise is the injuries the poor lad has accumulated. And this first mission is to find a doctor, of course, because bro is so hurt he can't even run. This also opens up the first full sync objective of the day, which is to not drop below 1 health square. Full synchronization, by the way, is the absolute hardest part of this game and also the reason it takes so long and is such a high difficulty for an Assassin's Creed game. Assassin's Creed 2, by the way, had a whopping 0 of these objectives, so it kind of polarizes this game in terms of difficulty. Anyways, finding the doctor wasn't a challenge because he's dressed up like the furry final boss, and then we did the usual Assassin's Creed intro viewpoint where you sync with one and are then off on the real journey. It began with us just killing some people, including the torturer or executioner. I'm not sure his exact title, but bro had that outfit on like a purple Fortnite skin straight dripping on us. We then met up with Roma's main assassin guy who sort of takes us around the city and also gives us missions the entire game. His name is Mackie something. I did end up reaching my first Borgia tower with this guy though, and he told me to kill the leader and then burn it. So that's what I did, and now we control the area and can make businesses and stuff to buy weapons and also make money. Hashtag capitalism isn't dead on my watch. The next trophy I got, however, was much later on, and it was during the first lair of Romulus that I did. These are like dungeons basically and have a load of puzzles and mostly just very annoying parkour in them. The full sync objective here, by the way, was to finish it within 8 minutes. I did not manage to do that. In fact, it took me like 30 minutes because I got lost a few times. So yeah, I don't want to talk about it, but here's the trophy from finishing it finally. And I'm actually kind of pressed because now I get to replay the entire thing over again, and I already know that's gonna make me go insane later on. I then made it back to our hideout here in Roma and talked to the guy again who keeps on giving me these BS objectives. I tried to tell him Google Maps was shot down there in the lair of Romulus, but he didn't believe me and said that I'm just an idiot. He did give me another trophy though, so I'll let bygones be bygones. At this point, we have made it far enough to leave the Animus whenever we want, and now that I think about it, this is actually the reason the game doesn't just pull us out of the Animus, because you can leave whenever you want, so there's kind of no point for them to. And there's actually 2 trophies gotten outside of it as a matter of fact. First, for getting 1 treasure atop the roof of the compound, and then another right right after for just opening up the computer. Very simple, yes, I know, and there is both missable trophies done. My next trophy was then not gotten until completing the entirety of sequence 3. This sequence consisted of us literally just setting up a ton of different outposts, like the escort one. They call the call girls something more modest in the old times, but they're just escorts if we were being honest. So we set up a brothel for them. We even set up the Thieves Guild also because they're on our team, since we do indeed condone such foolish activities. And we also talked to this war guy. I know his name, but I'm also not too sure what it exactly is. However, I will say he has a hot wife, and she plays a significant part in my downfall later on, just like my ex-girlfriends do. But then the sequence pretty much just ends with us talking to everyone at the same time as a little Avengers meet and greet, if you will. And before getting the sequence 3 trophy, I actually got one from just getting 100% sync in a sequence because this one had so little challenges in it. And then the sequence 3 trophy popped. Sequence 4 then began, and it kicked off with an extremely annoying level where you had to scale the main villain's big ass tower and also not get seen at all because of the full sync objective, which I failed over and over and ultimately gave up on for the time being. So anyways, while climbing it, we peeked in on the main bad boy and his sister making out. I guess incest was more normalized. Nah, that's just wrong, forget about it. But eventually we made it to the prisoner block and saw the ginger that Ezio banged earlier, who was the target for our saving grace today. I had to confront the incest sister though, and I swear this might be the most annoying objective I've done so far in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. You gotta carry the lady back to the prison cell with the ginger girl, but every time a damn enemy shows up, you gotta drop her and fight, of course, but then she just skedaddles away, and it's very tedious. We did end up getting out with her though, and she rode away to safety while I, the valiant hero, stayed behind to fend off the guards. This onslaught also gave me the perfect opportunity to get a 10 kill streak, so that's exactly what I did. In fact, I would even say that I'm good at this game's combat. It finally grew on me, and so did this trophy. We then took a break from the main story things and got forced to do our first Leonardo's War Machine mission. These are sort of a side objective that all have trophies attributed to them, but basically Leonardo da Vinci is not only a master painter, but also a master inventor and probably baiter. He made a ton of these deathly machines that we just go in and destroy pretty much, with the first one being a type of machine gun that kills everything. Lots of fun though, gotta love seeing where America gets its inspiration from. I then made it back to the missus and she said gingers aren't welcome in Roma and rode away without even saying goodbye, but she did give us a trophy. I also saved enough citizens and recruited them to be assassins that I received the Brotherhood trophy for starting a cult, which is one of my bucket list items. I also did another one of those War Machine quests, but this time it was with a classic tank and it was low-key fire. The full sync objective here is complete ass, by the way, but for now it's fine. There was then this extremely hard and annoying assassination objective against some super rich and totally legitimate banker. I don't think saying that sentence has ever been true in history, but this dude was also fat, so take that. And somehow he also pulls more girls than me. What the fuck? And out of my hatred and jealousy, which by the way are the two best motivators if you want something in life, I just totally assassinated him in front of everyone and also got away with it because I'm clean like that. Sequence 6 was then pretty much just filled up with one giant mission. It was with that war guy from earlier, and we have to sneak into the enemy base cosplaying as their soldiers in order to try and find and negotiate to get his wife back because she has been stolen. This mission's full sync objective, by the way, is to take 0 damage, which the first 90% of the mission is very easy to do, and that's not a challenge at all. However, right at the very end when you're saving his wife, you get jumped by 4 of the strongest and most aggressive enemy types in the game, making this stupid as shit. So I failed, but you probably guessed that. However, I still had to assassinate the evil king to save his wife, so I did. Then after we saved her and everyone was pleased, I got another story trophy. The following sequence was then very fast and also very dry. So yeah, it had us pretty much just chase down a man for information and he died. I'm innocent, I swear. We then got to talk to daddy again because he rules our life and story apparently, but he again gave us a trophy, so we are basically his bitch now. Sequence 8 then had us finally obtain the apple that we have been after for so long. Pretty much it's just a super powerful item that glows and also makes it impossible to use any other weapon, which is complete idiocracy. And obviously since we have the thing everyone is after, there was loads of battles, like giant big ol' loads of them. So this sequence had a lot of fighting, but ended with the villain guy just getting arrested by other scary people, so it's a bit anticlimactic. I wanted blood, but it is what it is, and I got a trophy. Sequence 9 then started again, and if you remember, this was also the first one we played on accident way back in the game's intro. This time though, it was supposed to happen, and it consisted almost entirely of us just battling the evil man as you would expect. Low-key though, it was kind of a hard fight because he had a bunch of minions just constantly poking you the whole time, but once we hurt his feelings enough, he gives up and we just threw him off the building, letting nature, as they call it, take him out, and not us. The rest of the game then all takes place in real life as we track down the apple in today's day and age because it is still residing in the same place Ezio placed it forever ago. So yeah, it's kind of a cool way to end off the game, but it was also very annoying because of the amount of parkour we had to do here. It's sort of dumb, and I'm not just saying that because I failed it a few times. Definitely not. But once Desmond grabbed the apple, he sort of lost control of his body and was forced to stab his girlfriend. Oh my god, drama in the family. We then had to watch credits roll for, I kid you not, 15 plus minutes straight. What the fuck? Now it's time to clean up. My first trophy here was from just replaying a memory because I did miss quite a few of those full sync objectives and now get to go back and replay the entire levels all over, which sucks. Hence the reason I stopped and just grinded out every single Borgia tower instead, burning them all and getting a trophy from it. I then just simply renovated 5 buildings inside of the Antico district, which is a trophy because they said so. I then started to grind out some of the Lairs of Romulus, which all have trophies, and also the full sync crap of course, which is almost impossible to do these first try on because most are time limited. So I did one and got this trophy. Yeah, I also did 4 more after, because why not just complete all of them when we are already suffering? After those hours of suffering, however, I did get some other silly trophies, if you will. First, for using the lift and apparently killing a guard with the bag from it, which was a complete mistake, and I plead the fifth. I then finally managed to level up an assassin recruit to max level and initiate them into the Brotherhood. By the way, the assassin recruits are one of the most fun and helpful things an Assassin's Creed game has ever had. I absolutely love it. Next up, I did another War Machine mission, and this time it was with a boat. Shout out Assassin's Creed Black Flag on God. Following that, I did another War Machine mission and it had us glide around like Batman. Only difference is we kill people. Lots of them. I then completed 20 challenges in the game. These are little kill objectives and other varying tasks inside of like the differing guilds of the game. Overall, it's not bad, and if you don't go for it, you'll most likely get it by the end of the game anyway. And then I landed on the usual glyph trophy for solving all the glyph puzzles. This was in the previous game, by the way, and it's still dumb, so that's cool. I then went into the Assassin VR training rooms and got gold on a few runs right here. I decided to do all of these with the parkour because they are the simplest in my opinion. I also suck at combat, but we don't talk about that. I then got to do a very funny kill trophy from smacking an enemy so hard in the head with a broom that he died. That gravestone is gonna go insane. I might have to pull up. After that, I just simply threw some money in a well and wished. I can't tell you my wish, but I did get a trophy. I then rounded up a load of enemies like we're playing Call of Duty Zombies, and I ordered an assassin's airstrike on them all, getting more than 10 kills at once, which was a trophy. Followed right after with me parachuting off of the villain's main base, which is a bitch to do, might I add. But what's even more a bitch to do is this fight trophy where you have to max bet on yourself to win and then punch 5 people to death within 45 seconds or something crazy. And it's only possible if you both combo and use sand in their eyes. I did not know sand was a thing for the entirety of this game, by the way, until now. Next up, I did another funny trophy actually. It's gotten from throwing a long weapon, heavy weapon, and smoke bomb at a guard from more than 10 meters away. But this game's mechanics just make it look so stupid, and I love it. Speaking of things I love, I also went and gambled my life savings away on a completely luck-based dice game. And somehow I didn't lose at all. God bless America. I then went and beat up a jester, or whatever these fruity individuals love calling themselves, and got a trophy. I love bullying people. It's great for character development. There was then a trophy gotten from parachuting and assassinating 2 enemies at once. Low-key, this one could be hard to set up if you're stupid, but if you're not, it's super simple and easy. Speaking of simple and easy things, my next trophy was gotten from just stealing 5 horses without touching the ground. So we got passed around like your mom in college, basically. I then paid off my high notoriety debt to this scammer and then scammed him by stealing it right back. Inflation is rising, don't judge me. Next trophy I got was then just from finishing the entire DLC for this game. Because since it's a remaster, they just threw it in with it and all the trophies from the DLC also. Thanks for making this game even harder. I hate you, Ubisoft. I then spent the next 5 hours straight, fully and completely going after the full sync trophy. And the hardest part of this all was, in my opinion, this War Machine mission right here. Also, it was my last full sync that I needed. You have to take 0 damage inside the tank, but what makes this so hard is that the tank is not fast by any means, so dodging absolutely everything is damn near impossible. And if you fail, you have to completely restart the level, which takes about 15 minutes just to get back to the tank section since the War Machine level is so slow in general. Absolute insanity fuel. Like, if you've done this trophy, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I did get it, of course, because I'm Its Ilusion, the GOAT. So now the only trophies I need are just the collectible ones with feathers and also flags. The feathers thankfully only have 10 in the game, whereas the previous one had like over 100 and it was actually ass. But the flags for this game come in at a succulent 101. Now finding them in the open world is very simple because you can just buy maps for them all and they show up. But then you also have to go back into the lair missions and find a few flags in each of them. So huge shout out to this guy from 12 years ago for the videos. Love you, bro. Hope you're doing all right. And yeah, there's the final trophy and the platinum pop right after. So that was the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood platinum trophy experience. Overall, the game was fun. I thought it played a lot better and also looked a lot better than the previous game. And obviously the platinum was way harder. So I'm gonna give it a solid 7 out of 10 just because it is a pretty good game and I didn't completely lose my mind playing it. The story isn't quite as good as the second one in terms of plot, but it does just flow better. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.